Ladies and gentlemen, here they are to bring even more action, as if the action they brought you Friday and Saturday night wasn't enough. Your headliners, Troels and Jeliazkova.
All right. Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? It's been a busy week for all of us. So we're here to bring you a few very direct, simple points about weight transfer. Because weight transfer is one of the biggest elements in dancing, ballroom or Latin. And I think it's important just to have a clear concept of how we actually do the weight transfer. Because individually, I have to be very clear how I transfer my weight from foot to foot, how I then time it with my partner, and then how I time it to the music. So how I divide it into my own system is that I have 3 weight centers. The first weight center is the center of movement, the horizontal weight center, okay? So whenever I transfer weight, whenever I'm moving horizontally, this is where I transfer my weight. And this center is placed in between my hips. Okay, somewhere, it's very personal, so I don't want to put a specific point, but it's somewhere in the pelvic area. And I imagine it myself as a ball that has like a space, a limit of like a space in between my hips that can move from side to side. So whenever I'm moving horizontally, this is where I'm thinking about my weight transfer. So in other words, if I place my hand on my tailbone and the other one on the front of my stomach, this is where I move my weight. So I'm not even thinking about upper body. I'm not even thinking about like action or anything. It's literally just weight transfer I want to be aware of. Because if I want to move my weight shift my weight from one foot to another, this is from here I do it. So if I want to transfer weight, there's nothing else I have to do than just transfer that point. Yeah, of course from there I add action. But this is literally the point. If I want to shift weight, this is the point I'm shifting. From the lower tailbone, connected somewhere in my stomach, around there, is where my horizontal weight point is. Okay? The second weight point I want to talk about is the vertical weight point. And for us, me and Ina, this is the important one in Latin especially. I'm not too familiar with the ballroom, but especially in Latin, this is where all the compression is created. Yeah, this is where it's linked to a hip action or hip reaction, let me say it like that. Because for me, hip action is a reaction in my body of actually compressing my center. So first of all, where's that center located? The center is located, if I'm just gonna show you an Ina, it's located around the spine, down in the shoulder. So if you press your own shoulder, the soft point of the shoulder goes all the way down from the spine, down into the tailbone. For me, this is the center of vertical. This is the center of compression. So if you see Ina standing on her right foot, if she connects this shoulder to hip through that point, a hip action is created. It's not actually a action, it's a reaction, compressing those two things. Yeah? So if you think about toothpaste or whatever paste, you have a tube, you press on the top, you press on the bottom, and in the middle, it comes out. That's the hip. So in other words, if I stand and I have a foundation here, and I have my leg here, now if I press from the top through that center and I release my weight, there's a hip action happening underneath myself. It's actually not a hip action. It's a hip reaction from me settling the weight through my body. Yeah, that would happen. So for instance, from here, I would release my center, my weight into that leg. And from here, I can create a action, which would be a reaction, which would be an extra hip action. But that's the second part of the thing. It's nothing to do, for me, with weight, actually. Okay? So let's make that clear. For two centers, I would have the vertical center, which I'm settling through. I connect to my foot, where I'm actually transferring my horizontal weight transfer through. So another important point about the horizontal is that it's related to space. But first of all, before even relating it to space, it's related to my own foot. So I'm very clear on my foot, where is my horizontal weight center? Is it in the center of the foot? If you see it from the side, is it in the center of the foot? Is it in the ball of the foot? Is it in the heel of the foot? So I can play with that center. And for instance, in a rumba walk, if I'm in a neutral position, I would connect my vertical center into that leg, and now I will travel through that foot, through my horizontal. So I will travel through until I'm passing the point that I have to catch my leg. Yeah? So, I have a very clear system in my own body when I'm traveling and when I'm stationary. Because in that sense, if I want to do something stationary, I can do whatever I want to do, and it's all happening around that foot. The second I want to move, I'm now connecting into the foot and in the direction I want to go. So it's very clear in time, in music, whenever I want to do it, I can do something with Ina, and I can stay here, and we can just do, this is all happening on the foot. I'm not even putting any direction. The second I put a direction into it, she can already feel I'm putting a direction in my own foot, and now the second thing is, I want to move her. Yeah? So there's, and the thing is, it's, in theory, it has nothing to do with Ina. It's all in my own body. So, in other words, in order to get another tool to do lead and follow, as a man, I think it's very important to have your own system in terms of how you coordinate your body, because we have to be a split second before the woman in order to lead her in the right direction at the right time. Now, how do we do that? In my thinking, everything that's happening in my upper body is direction. You can call it volume as well, but that's more of an outside thing. For me, it's all about the direction. So let me explain like this. If we just do Cuban breaks, cucarachas. Let's do cucarachas. Yeah? So when we do cucarachas, if I'm again thinking, where am I on the foot? I can play around my weight on the foot. Now, if I want to go in a certain direction, it's my upper body, like when you're driving the car and you use the indicator, I'm going to go to my right. Now, it's shown through my upper body. I'm going to go to my right. I haven't moved an inch yet in my weight. I'm saying I'm going to go to my right, and now is the time. So I'm connecting all through that weight. I'm going to go to the side now. So, direction, time. And in that sense, we're connecting through this center. So if Ina was in front of me, I would stay in. We will connect through the weight. Connect, indicate, time. Connect, indicate, time. Connect, indicate, time. Connect, indicate, time. And when I say indicate and connect, it's of course a merging of body weights. So whenever we're connecting, whenever we're taking a side step, and we're connecting here, I'm aware of where is my body weight, where is the body weight on my foot. Is it traveling towards each other? Is it staying where I want it to stay? And it's much more vertical in my own body. Do I want much more body weight in that? But if you see, nothing is changing in my indication until I do that. So you can see the second I actually move my upper torso to whatever direction I want, if it's side, if it's forward, she can react to that immediately. And then I go down and say, okay, I'm going to move that way. Could you please move with me? Now, I'm going to move that way. Now. Yeah? So there's a visual thing, but even if Ina closed her eyes, she'll be able to feel it because it's connected through my weight. So whenever I do that, she's reacting in her body. Now, I can't decide, okay, let's go backwards and forwards. She'll be confused. Yeah? She has to react. I have to accept that she's in the position for me to lead her to that step. Because I'm asking for permission. I'm saying, could you please go that way? Could you please go that way? Now she's going to join me. If I say, could you please go that way? Oh, I changed my mind. She's going to be confused. She's going to be on the wrong foot. Yeah, so guys, whenever we make that decision, even if we change our minds, which happens sometimes, we have to accept that the girl, we put her in a certain situation. We have to take responsibility for that situation, even if we change it later. Okay? We have to be from here, say, okay, I want to go that way. We now take the step. And then from here, again, I connect my horizontal weight center to transfer that weight onto the foot. I now connect it through my vertical center to connect that foot. And now I add a rotation, which is an action, and get back onto the foot.
So there is a very big difference between getting on the foot and getting in the foot. So you can use the horizontal center to get yourself on the foot, and you use the vertical center to get in the foot. Does that make sense? Then you can make it a bit more clear for yourself.
Yeah, so whenever we're teaching or whenever we're practicing ourselves, we always say, we have the points. Whenever I take a step, so for instance, if I'm on a foot and I want to do a rumba walk, it doesn't matter if it's rumba walks or if it's cucarachas or whatever, I'm on the foot. Now, I want to get into that foot. That's the first step. I want to feel the body weight in that foot. I now want to travel through that foot until I'm off point of my foot and I catch the weight. Now, here, I'm kind of in between. Okay? This is a personal matter. Some people want to go straight onto the foot, and it also depends on from dance to dance. Okay? If it's a cha-cha, I don't have time for the weight transfer. I want to get straight onto the foot. Okay? In a rumba, I could actually spend time showing that weight transfer from foot to foot and really using that back foot. Okay? First of all, I'm on the foot. I get into the foot. I get through the foot. And I catch my weight. Now from here, I need to get onto the new standing leg. So I use the back foot and I use that center to bring me onto the foot. From here on, I need to get into, as Ina said. And that's through that vertical center. I get into. So what you see is a hip action. What I'm thinking is actually to use that center and really release my body weight onto that foot.
Like to add something because I think of it slightly in a different part of my body. When he shows it, he takes it, of course, very much to here, which I also do, but I feel that it's much quicker connected to my lower part if the point is right underneath my shoulder blade. So basically, you would see more visual expression in the hip versus in the torso. So basically, once we can make this side step. So from here, after I've stepped to the side, if I was doing his way and I would do it from the upper body, it would have a little bit more of a torso outcome to it. If I think of it more in this part of my body, it's going to have a lot more hip result. I don't know if you can see the difference. So it's more feminine in its expression this way. Clear?
In that sense, it's very important that we actually change the mechanics accordingly to the intention that we want. Yeah? which brings me to another center that I'm using in my body, which is the center of level. Okay? So I have the two centers, which is the center of horizontal, the center of level, vertical, and then the center of level. And level is even more internal. Level is where I'm actually changing how I feel in each stance. So for instance, in a rumba, the center is placed from my belly button to my solar plexus. Yeah? So if I want to elevate, nothing is changing in my lower part, but I can add an elevation in my center. Now, the difficult thing is, I don't want to look high, because I can even do this in cha-cha and rumba. I can now add my vertical center to still add depth and settlement. So it's not about being high in that sense and now being off the floor. It's literally that vertical line in my body that I can raise up in my body. So, and these are used in the individual dances as well. Like for instance in a rumba, I would be way lower. For me, rumba is the lowest point. I would be down here. I lower it down to my belly button. So I can actually add fullness and volume in my whole part of the body. In cha-cha, I want freedom. So I'm going to raise it up a bit. So I can now add actually rotation. So I raise it up, but I still have the freedom. And I can add gravity through that center. Yeah, in paso, I would use the whole range. Sometimes I would go all the way low, but now from here, I would actually raise that center. So if you see, guys, I don't change anything in my hips. I'm actually connecting through my foot, and now through that center of levity, like level and levity, I'm changing this. I'm changing up. I can continue. Boom. I go down. Boom. It's all the way down there. I can now continue through that. If you want to do a rumba stretch, I can raise that. But now, I can go down into that. So I use that very much individually, but also through, as I said, intentionally. So if you just do a regular back basic step, I can decide how I want to approach this step. So for instance, if we just take a step here, and I keep the center low all the time, it's a much more direct, flat action that stays between the two of us. Yeah? Now, if I want to change the intention of that, I can decide to, okay, I want to actually raise the level and go above Ina. Nothing changed in this. I'm still dancing my action. I raised my center of levity. I want to be above. Now, I have to still time the action with Ina because she's in a delayed walk. So and I have delayed my hip. I have to time that hip with Ina to get it tight. Now, I send my center down to connect it with Ina. Again, I have to make a choice on the next step. Do I actually want to stay down and receive it through the center, the pelvic area, which makes it much more present and aware between the man and the woman? Or do I make it more dominant and say, come to me, come to me, come to me, I'm above you, and then send it? Yeah? So that center of levity creates a certain intention in my body. But what is important is that no matter what I do, I have to relate it to the center of movement. Yeah? Even if I stay up all the time, I raise my center. I'm still now timing this with her. Now, do I want to go down and stay? Constant grounded. Do I want to play with it? Yeah, so you can see that's the only thing I'm actually playing with is the center of level. Yeah, so I have the 3 centers that I'm playing with all the time. I have the center, horizontal center, which is literally just the weight transfer. How I'm timing my weight on my own foot and in relation to her. Yeah? From here, I have the center of vertical. I connect into the foot. I'm actually really connecting through that foot. Because in other words, you've all heard the word, feel your body weight. Okay, let's get into the foot. And often what happens is that it happens through this. Okay, feel the foot, feel the... But what about the rest of my body? What's happening there? What about actually the upper torso? So that's where we felt that, body weight is created from here. It's connected through down the spine, into the tailbone, into the hip, into the foot. That's where I actually feel my real body weight. Because in the end of the day, to feel my whole mass, to feel the whole body weight is an illusion. Because I can't feel the whole mass of myself. But for us, definitely, to feel that point down the spine creates quite a nice awareness of that body weight that we're trying to create. Yeah? And then from there on, to add the level from dance to dance, but also individually in the dance. Because, for instance, in a jive, we want to have light. We want to have pumping. We want to have it energetic and up. Yeah? So, for instance, in the jive, I have a high center. I lift my level, and now I dance jive. Okay? Now this looks light, but almost too light. So from here on is when I actually add through level. From here, vertical weight. Yeah? So I can keep my level there, but I can down through vertical weight. Nothing changes in my level, but I can go down through the weight. Whoom, whoom. Zagatida. Change the weight through there. Zagatida. So I keep the level high. Yeah? I keep the level high, but I add the body weight. Because I think in today's competition, there is a certain expectation to be present, to have the presentation. But I often see that everything gets up. So I want to use that level center as a tool for me to be able to be present, yet grounded, yet feeling my own body. Communicating with my partner, because if I'm all up here, she can't feel me. I want to get onto the foot, into the foot, and share. She reacts straight away to that. We share that body weight. Now, once we're in that, I want to indicate, where do I want to go? I want to go there. I get onto the foot, center stays high. I go, zagatida, wum, ba, dagatida. Again, in the jive, I would do the same thing and in a rumba. I would lead her under the arm, zagati, stay, yeah? To the side, indication, and then the step. Boom, boom, yeah? That's the cue, I guess, to get out of the floor. Okay? So guys, this was a quick, just sharing of some points, okay? Weight point, horizontal, vertical, and then just the level change in my own body through that vertical line, yeah? But it's very clear, it's difficult stuff, and you can use it in ballroom as well. It's the same thing, transfer the weight from foot to foot, actually connecting to the foot, shaping could be indicated as the same as like an indication in my body. But what's important to get that weight onto the foot, okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much. It was quick. Hope you had a good morning. Thank you so much, everyone.
Troels and Iliana Ina Jeliazkova. We're going to take just a quick moment and we'll be right back with Marcina Stachura.